Hey, Nick, how are you, buddy?
Talk shoes.
Recorded live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Travis and Vic's Drunken Horror Adventures. It's kind of like a doubleheader / tribute show, and we're gonna get into a tribute at least for the first hour. And we've got a special guest joining us. We've also got Blake and Vic here. This is Travis, and the horror community lost somebody who was very important to us, who in many ways kind of kicked off the slasher craze. You could say Halloween did it. You could say Friday the 13th did it. You could say whatever. But, you know, the director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I mean, he was a legend, and it's been a tough year. We lost Tobe Hooper over the weekend, and now here we are to bring a tribute show. We did it for Gunnar Hansen. We did it for Wes Craven. We did it for George Romero, and it's only fitting that we do it for Tobe Hooper on a night where we're talking about a movie that's based on Ed Gein, just like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So what's up, everybody? Blake, I'll let you intro our guest in.
All righty. Well, hello, everybody. This is Blake, friendly neighborhood horror geek, just like Travis and Vic, and I wanted to, introduce a guest who's been on the show twice before and has some really, really amazing things to say and, brilliant insight on the subject of, part one of tonight's show, Tobe Hooper, and that is the amazingly brilliant production designer and art director, Mick Strong. Hey, Mick, how are you, buddy?
Hey, guys, how's it going?
Surviving, man.
Yep.
Surviving.
Survival is 9/10 of getting there.
Exactly. I think. Yeah. Was that a compliment? Ooh, nobody knows for sure.
Oh, goodness. Good to hear from you, Mick. Good to hear from you.
Hey, how's it going, man? How you been, Blake?
I've been doing well, doing okay, just working, writing books, trying to find a way to come visit with you when you come down here. I want to come to work for you. That's what I want to do. I want to leave my job behind and come work for you. So.
Well, you know what? I am a popular guy,
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, for good reason. For anybody listening that's not familiar with Mick's work, he's only done some of the best movies in horror and sci-fi and some of the best sci-fi television. Two of the biggest accomplishments would be Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4, and of course, Critters, and then, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, I believe, wasn't it, Mick?
Yeah, the third one. Yeah. The after the clown one. See, there was a really scary one, and then there was a clown one, and then there was another scary one. That's where I fit in. And then I don't know what the rest of it did.
Well, we're anxious and ready to hear what you have to say about Tobe Hooper and what you worked on him with. And, I have a very special connection to that particular project because it inspired me to write my book, which you have read. And that was a super huge compliment to be able to give something that I, created to someone who created something so memorable for me. So thank you for that.
Well, there you go. Good job, by the way, on the book.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Wow. Oh.
So we're talking about, what was the episode's name? I love this. I had it up here on my computer.
It's okay, technology. We're talking about 1988 Freddy's Nightmares television series, the pilot episode called No More
Mr. Nice Guy.
That's it. That's the one.
Well, you guys have really cleaned up this talking thing.
That's only because there's not 500 people on this time. That's how it was last time you were on, Mick.
Well,
which is nobody's fault. But
the last time I was on, we all sounded like different robots from the past. I mean, I think Lisa sounded like the Lost in Space robot. And everybody had Travis kind of sounded more like a more recent, robot. It was pretty interesting.
At least I was modern.
Yeah. I especially like the echo effect when I would talk, because every time I would say something, it would be really dead, and then just fraction of a second later, just after I started into my second word, my first word had come back to me.
Well, it was just that important. It had to be heard twice.
I guess.
There you go. I like it. That's good. Very good.
That's really headache making. I got to tell you.
I'm a spin master. What can I say? But Mick, Blake had talked about it, and the reason, obviously, not to say that we don't want to talk to you anytime, but obviously we brought you on because you got to work with Tobe. We've talked to people in the past, and we were kind of kicking this around before the show. Like, Blake had never heard anybody talk bad about Tobe, and again, I don't want to speak ill of one that's passed away, but like Terry McMinn and John Dugan, at least John Dugan has passed.
Wait. Give me a chance, though.
I will.
I mean to talk bad about the dead.
Okay, well, I'll let you do it. But Terry McMinn and John Dugan were not fans of Tobe Hooper, at least not when they worked with him at Texas Chainsaw. So I wanted to get your thoughts on what it was like to work with him.
Truth between friends, just
yeah,
the four of
listening.
us?
It's all good.
Just the four. Okay. Between just the four of us. Tobe, by the time I worked with him, possibly could have been in not the best health, I want to say. He was just really, he seemed really angry all the time for reasons that just nobody could quite figure out. But we were filming, you have to understand that we were filming in this little warehouse, like 10,000 square feet up in the valley, and it was the place that we were at had a bar right next door where everybody on the crew who was working on it could be found at any time they weren't immediately needed because it wasn't one of the best places to be. And I think Tobe was one of those. So you would have to go next door and kind of like grab him out of the bar and, bring him back to the fold, as it were. And, he was, he did have a way of talking that started at a word and then faded off into kind of a mumble, and then he would turn and he would walk away from you.
Was he a drinker?
You know what? Hard to tell. He was just he kind of looked like he was high quite a bit at the time, can I say?
That doesn't surprise me, Mick. Robert England told a story about filming Night Terrors, Tobe Hooper's Night Terrors, and he said that they would go out after shooting in wherever they were, Israel, filming this Marquis de Sade, tale, and after filming each day, they would go to a bar or a restaurant with a bar, and Tobe would drink pitchers of vodka spiked lemonade and eat fresh calamari, and give them all history lessons. So that sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time he seemed pretty crushed. Yeah, and argumentative, but not argumentative in a style where anybody understood what he was talking about. More of just argumentative, It was like if you had to have like a discussion with him, you would go to him and you would hear him mumbling an answer to you, and then eventually it would get quiet enough so that you could politely walk away again.
You think maybe that was a strategy on his part? Maybe it was his way to get you to go away. You know what I'm saying? Like certain people do.
Well, listen,
I know this much.
Hey, it's not like it hasn't. It's not like people haven't done that to me before.
I get that all the time on the phone. It's usually somebody Hispanic that's pretending not to speak English, and then they speak English whenever they're owed, whenever they owe money, or the opposite. But regardless,
or like Vic did when we started the show. He was speaking some half-assed Spanish accent, and I was like, "What in the hell? Who in the hell is this?" So I guess his way of pranking me. So. But I don't know. I want to know how that works, Nick, because as everybody knows who's listened, I spent 5 days in Las Vegas with Mick, and Mick is one of the most lively, funny, ready to talk, just imaginative and vibrant people. And to hear him talk about Tobe Hooper and describe him, I want to know how that worked, that dichotomy, because he seems like he's the complete opposite of the personality that you are, Mick. So.
Oh well, yeah, no, there is no doubt that we didn't get along that well. I mean, and I take this back. When I say that we didn't get along very well, I don't know how he was receiving me at all, because he was mumbling to everybody and kind of not really totally there, as it were. So I even if he wanted me to, I wasn't going to take it personally. Listen, if you work in the film business, you're going to come up against people that you don't like, and you're going to be forced to work with them no matter what. And you just kind of got to put that in your pocket and walk away. And, when you get alone somewhere, you just bang your head against the frickin' wall.
That sounds like Chuck Russell.
Oh, Chuck Russell. Yeah, Chuck Russell is the worst. But
well, okay, so with Tobe, how close did you actually have to work with him? I mean, you're dealing with a guy. If I had to guess, I think Tobe was maybe a little bit of a misanthrope. Not that I'm not. I don't like people all that much either, but I can lie and pretend.
He was. You know what? I have to say that to a certain respect. I kind of researched a little bit, kind of looked around at some friends of mine that had dealt with him and so forth, and I have to say my experience with him was not. I wasn't the only one, and for him to work with Robert, and Robert is just the sweetest guy in the world. I mean, Robert wants to talk to you about everything, and he's smart as hell, and he wants to. He is one of those rare people in the film business that doesn't only want to talk about film business. He wants to talk about other things, which I was always that way myself. We'd be talking back and forth, and finally the technicians would kick me out of the trailer because they needed to glue his mouth stuff on, and he just could not stop himself from talking if I was in the room. So I got kicked out a lot.
I've experienced that firsthand. He wanted to sit and jaw with me when we were hanging out, and I had things to do. And the handlers were actually trying to get me to go, and he was telling the handlers to buzz off so that he could talk to me. And it's just that way. So to picture, you and Robert with that sort of very similar personality, and then having to come in contact with Tobe, with his, cantankerous is sort of how I think when I think of him. But, and often he needed a cigar, and he had this way of smoking the cigar and blowing the smoke right out in front of him, no matter what, whether you were standing there or not. He wasn't one of those people that was polite about it. He just kind of exhale right into your face, and that was. And he reminded me of it was sort of like being around Joe Pesci, who also smokes cigars constantly, but he was really careful not to blow smoke in your face, but he always had a cigar. Well, Tobe was the opposite of that. He always had a cigar, and he was just going to smoke the two of you out until, one of you had to leave. And usually it was me. What can I say?
kind of heading into the whole thing with Tobe Hooper, I mean, obviously he probably had some sort of a reputation going in. What did you expect before you got to work with him?
Oh yeah, you know what? I really thought, wow, I was going to meet a hero.